Before we begin, trading carries a high level of risk that may not be suitable for all investors. The high degree of leverage can work against you as well as for you. Before deciding to invest, you should carefully consider your investment objectives, level of experience, and risk appetite. The possibility exists that you could sustain a loss of some or all of your initial investment, and therefore you should not invest with money you cannot afford to lose. Be aware of all risks associated with trading and seek advice from an independent financial advisor if you have any doubts. We are not a broker or dealer or any registered financial advisor. Please seek advice from an independent financial advisor. Okay, so now we have a chart open. We want to maximize that chart. Just make it big. Now over in the left-hand side, you can see the navigator right here. This holds all of your indicators and expert advisors and scripts and things that you want to put on a chart. What is an indicator? Well, it's like the RSI. All over the internet, people talk about the RSI as an indicator, and this is what it looks like. That's an indicator. The probability tool suite is not an indicator. It's software that takes indicators, crunches numbers, and spits out all kinds of probabilities to you. The stop loss. Well, we're going to go into take profit mode. Right now, you can see that the stop loss is set at 50 pips and the take profit is set at 50 pips. And over the past 96 trades, based upon everything we see here, it's got a 43% probability of paying off. That's not good, especially since on a Dow Jones 30 chart, 50 pips is like nothing. It's like, 2 pennies away. So we have to open those up. Instead of opening those up, let's go to the Euro USD where 50 pips is quite large. And we're going to run it. And now we're going to get let's see, it wins 47% of the time. How do we make that a little bit better by not doing anything? Well, we just reverse it. Now it works 49% of the time. Still no good. We're going to get into strategy creation later. Stay with me. But in your stop loss and take profit mode, the tool suite is going to show you every time that happens, how often it hits your stop loss or take profit first. Like for instance, here you see this signal right here. It hits your take profit before it hit the stop loss. But in this signal right before this, it hit the stop loss before it hit the take profit. Now, this is not a good signal. Wins only 49% of the time. It's happened 184 times over, I don't know, we'll look at how far back here shortly. And it's won 7 times consecutively or in a row. And it has also lost 7 times consecutively or in a row. Now, why is this number useful? The number 7, or how many times it's lost or won in a row? Well, I'm not as concerned about the win rate as I am about the loss rate, because some strategies, for instance, a lot of people say, well, you have to limit your losses. So I actually heard a guy the other day say, I always set my stop loss at 35 and my take profit at 100 no matter what I'm trading, because I know that I need more of a reward than I do for more of a stop loss. And I was trying to tell him that's not necessarily true, because on most strategies, it's not going to work. It's just not. And right here, it works 29% of the time. Well, in order for this to be profitable, with a 29% win rate, it's not going to be that profitable. Plus, it loses 9 times in a row versus four consecutive wins in a row. It's kind of backwards. It can work. We'll go into that later. But just to say an arbitrary, I use a 50 pip stop loss, or I use a 10 pip stop loss, or something like that, it defeats the purpose of trading, because instead of using fixed stop losses, sometimes you should think about, sometimes you should think about things like, here we go, ATR multiple. Average true range. What this will show you, what average true range does is it will take the range of markets and it will show you an average of about how far they move. And then you want to put your stop loss, beyond that in many circumstances. People also tell me, and we're just going to do a little bit of investigating, I always trade with a no stop loss, or let's put it in as a million pip stop loss or whatever, but a 10 pip take profit. And then people are like, well, does it work? Well, let's try to look at something. I want to go to the daily chart. I want to go to the RSI like that. I want to cross into, let's see if it works or not. Well, over the past 57 trades, it's worked 100% of the time, every single time. But how often has the pullbacks happened? How far has it pulled back? Well, you can see that too. You can see, because you see this big long green line. This means the profit has not been taken, and you can see how far price has pulled back. You can even measure it by clicking your little mouse button here and measuring down. This loss was like, from 116 all the way down to 102. I mean, that's a big one. It's on the daily. However, it won. And this one won too, but it took from July of 2012 all the way until January of 2015. Are you going to spend like years trying to get 10 pips? No. But this will show you that. We're going to look at the stuff again. It did win 100% of the time, so you can go in here and say, oh, it's got a 100% win rate. Hang on. Oh, it's got a 100% win rate. Sorry about that. Because I used to do the same thing. Yes, they do have a 100% win rate. Yes, they do work. And yes, even though you get in here, there are strategies to be able to take 10 pips without it actually hitting the 10 pip mark. Not going into that right now. You can do all kinds of things. You can hedge with a binary, you can trade multiple trades, all kinds of things with that. So there is your take profit and stop loss mode.